Hello to all of you. Day before yesterday, I had posted a video on Character of a Happy Life, and it was a Hindi explanation of the poem. I would like to tell all of you that I had started this channel to make it convenient for my students who are unable to understand English just because of their rural background, and their language is Hindi, mother tongue is Hindi. That's why they had so many problems in understanding English if the lecture is totally delivered in English language. That's why, being a teacher, I have to merge the two language. I have to take the help of the other language to make it clear, to make the concept clear. But I had posted that video. Now today I would take up the same poem, Character of a Happy Life, and I would like to explain the poem in English. Okay, so as I had started the poem earlier, I had told you the introduction. This poem, Character of a Happy Life, is composed by Sir Henry Wotton, who was a contemporary of William Shakespeare, as he was born on 30th March 1538 and died in 1639. Okay, he has been known as an English writer, diplomat, as well as politician. When we talk about his poem, Character of a Happy Life, we must know that it is a simple, straightforward poem. It is a didactic poem. Didactic means it is teaching something. Okay, it inculcates some moral in us, and happiness, as we all of us we are knowing that happiness is only a dream. We all pursue that dream. But what is the meaning of genuine happiness? This has been elaborated through this poem. The poem has been written in 6 stanzas. Okay, we will take up one by one stanza and we will find out what is the meaning of real happiness. Okay, now we may start. How happy is he born or taught, that serveth not another's will, whose armour is his honest thought, and simple truth his utmost skill. Now here in the very first stanza, he tells us that he starts the line with an exclamatory sentence. How happy is he born or taught? Means how happy is the person who is born or taught. Born or taught, we must remember that these are the two things, attributes or any qualities we have. They are either inherent or we acquire it from our society, from when we go to a school we learn something. So he says that how happy is the man who is born with this quality or who has acquired this quality, that he has become self-reliant. He is self-dependent. He does not need to depend on any other person for any kind of thing. Okay, he is truly dependent on himself. And that it says that how happy is this man, means that person is very happy, who does not serve another's will, means who does not follow anyone's command, who doesn't need anyone to keep him happy, because he knows the secret how to keep himself happy. Secondly, he says that whose armor is his honest thought, and simple truth his utmost skill. He says that such kind of person who believes in truth and honesty, such type of people, such type of person does not need to fear anyone, because they are having an armor. Armor means a shield of truthfulness, shield of honest thought. Honesty is the greatest skill they have. So in a gist we can say that that person is very happy, who has known how to keep himself happy, how to be dependent upon himself only, and that person is his greatest armor. He shields himself, he protects himself, because he has two virtues. He is always truthful, he is honest. Okay, so come to the next stanza. whose passions not his masters are, whose soul is still prepared for death, untied unto the world with care of public fame and private breath. Now here he says that such type of person who are genuinely happy, how they are happy, because whose passion, such type of person whose passions not his masters are. We all know that we are ruled by certain kind of passions, we are controlled, and just running after this passion, or being have being very slavish to such kind of passion, it creates problem for ourselves. So he says that one should not be controlled by these passions, one should not get mastered, but one should master them. Okay, what are the passions? Passions means the strong desire. What are the strong desires? Just like anger, greed, jealousy, love, anything that goes beyond the limit becomes quite dangerous for us. Then afterwards he says that such kind of people, such person, they are courageous, they don't fear from death, they are always ready to accept death because they are quite bold. Then untied unto the word with care. Untied unto the word with care means that person is free from all kind of anxieties, all kind of worries, and of public fame. Which kind of? Because that you must have seen people, they are always worried about fame, name, etc. But this kind of person who is genuinely happy, he has freed himself from all such kind of things, like by fame and other things, other kind of things like criticism. He is undeterred by all kind of criticism. Okay, he never cares for such things. He is free from all these things, because you must have heard somewhere that fame chains. So he is unchained from all these things. Okay, then he says that who envies none but chance doth raise. Who envies none? Envy means jealous, being jealous. Such type of people, such type of person who is genuinely happy, he doesn't get jealous of anyone, of such friends who have just gained fame or name surprisingly. So he is never jealous about such people. And he says that the popularity, the praise, all these are quite useless, because after some time they prove to be the deepest wound. And such type of person who follows his own heart, who follows his own conscience, who always do the justful things, such type of person, he doesn't follow, or he is he doesn't follow any rule, or he is never bothered about the rules of the state, because he knows that whatever he is doing is good, is just. He knows that nobody would harm him for a justified action. Okay, now the next stanza: who hath his life from rumors freed, whose conscience is his strong retreat. Here he says that people or person who is happy, who is genuinely happy, he is happy because he has freed his life from all such kind of false news. He is not affected from all these things, because he always believes on his conscience. He knows that his conscience would always guide him. All of us, we believe that there is God in our conscience, or the conscience is our greatest shield, because it will always protect us if we follow the voice of our conscience. Then he says that whose state can neither flatterers feed. You must have seen people that they are surrounded by flatterers. Flatterers means that you have done this or you have been, they exaggerate. So such, and to make a person happy, but the person who is genuinely happy, he does not like any kind of flattery, and if such person, by due to any due to any circumstances or anything, if he fails in his life, he is not affected by his failures also, because he knows that he knows how to be calm in profit or loss. And because he is calm, so his oppressors can't feel great. Okay, because he is unaffected by all these things. Then he says, who God doth late and early pray, more of his grace than gift to lend, and entertains the harmless day with a religious book or friend. Now he says, in this particular stanza, he slightly moves towards the religion. Religion means here, I would say that religion is spirituality. Then he says that who got that late, that such person who is always happy, he has full faith in God, and he does not go to God to ask for anything, because you must have seen people asking God that God please give me this, God please fulfill my wish. So he is not going to God to get his any wish fulfilled, but he is happy for the blessings he has attained from God. God showers his blessings and he is contented. The contentment is his greatest happiness. And afterwards he says that he entertains the entire day. How does he entertain the entire day? In the company of a good friend or a good religious book, because books are our great friend, and a good company is the precious asset we can have. Then in the last stanza he says, this man is free from servile bands of hope to rise, of fear to fall. This man is free from servile band, means the person who is truly happy is free from all kinds of bands which lead to a slavish life. He is free from all such kind of bonds, all such kinds of servile bands. And he says that he does not have any hope to rise or the fear to fall. He is happy in all the state. He is calm in all the state. He does not have any desire. Such type of person is a lord of himself, though he may not have acquired a lot of wealth. He may not have the possession of land, but he is happy because he is the ruler of himself, and having nothing he had all, because he has the greatest thing. He knows how to be happy, and this happiness is the greatest thing, because all of us, we all are just seeking for the true happiness, and the true happiness lies in contentment somewhere. So this person who is genuinely happy, he, despite of the fact that he does not have anything, but still he has everything because he is happy. Okay, so in this manner we have just completed this poem. This poem inculcates some good virtues in us, and it tells us that how can we make ourselves happy. And the poem, as I told you, that it has been written in 6 stanzas, and the stanzas are following the rhyme scheme of ABAB. The last word of the first line rhymes with the last word of the third line. In the same manner, the last word of the second line rhymes with the last word of the fourth line. So we are having the alternate rhyme scheme. Okay, AB, AB, EF, EF, etc. Then he has used certain figure of speech in this poem. For example, the most interesting figure of speech he has used in the last line of the poem, having nothing he has all. Here he has used oxymoron. Oxymoron, it put two contrary things together. Having nothing, he has nothing, but still he has everything. So here we find a very fine use of oxymoron. Then anaphora in the second stanza, where the first and the second line start with the same word, whose passions not his masters are, whose soul is still prepared for death. Here we also find personification. Passion, the word passion is personified. Then we find alliteration also. How happy, alliteration is a repetition of a similar sound. How happy is he born or taught? How happy, HH, then he is honest, HH. In the same manner we find, assonance, repetition of the vowel sound in his utmost skill, then rules of good. Okay, so here in this way we have find that it is technically rich poem also, as well as having a very good and universal theme. I hope that you would have enjoyed it. Okay, thank you.